Greetings Internet, Didier here, and welcome to another Awakening preview. This time is special because we're actually previewing all 7 Earth Dragon Balls. Now I know all of you were anticipating this set of Dragon Balls, and so was I. We can all agree that the Namek Dragon Balls set the tone in terms of Dragon Ball power, especially when it comes to Namek Dragon Ball 7. So let's see how the new Earth Dragon Balls stand up to the power of the Namek Balls. Starting out here with Earth Dragon Ball 1, it has a constant that all attacks are going to be doing +1 life card, and this includes your opponent's attacks. Then continued, whenever this ball is captured, whoever is capturing the ball may decide to shuffle it into its owner's life deck. So in terms of power of this Earth Dragon Ball, it's a lot weaker than the Namek Dragon Ball 1. Its all attacks are doing +1 life card. So it's going to help you push critical damage, but it's also going to help your opponent. Now granted, capturing this ball almost does nothing. Chances are, if you're playing Earth Dragon Balls, you're playing them in a Dragon Ball deck. You're trying to win by Dragon Ball victory. Given that this Earth Dragon Ball doesn't have the protection that the Namek Dragon Ball has, you may want to wait until one of the last Dragon Balls to play this one. Earth Dragon Ball 2 has an interesting mirror to Namek Dragon Ball 2. This Dragon Ball has a power that as soon as it comes into play, you're going to advance or lower your opponent's main personality by 1 level. Differences between this Dragon Ball and the Namek Dragon Ball: the Namek Dragon Ball is May, so you don't have to do anything when you play Namek Dragon Ball 2. You have to do something with Earth Dragon Ball 2. You have to either advance or lower your opponent 1 personality level. Now of course you do get the option to advance your opponent a level, which in some matchups, this may be valuable. There are going to be decks that camp certain levels that try to build up a board of drills on level 1 or level 2, and if you advance them, you can just destroy all their drills and maybe put them on a much worse level than they would be expecting. Earth Dragon Ball 3, on the other hand, has an insanely powerful ability. You're going to draw the bottom 3 cards of your discard pile and then choose 2 cards in your hand and shuffle them into your life deck. Also, raise your anger 1. This Earth Dragon Ball offers the same level of card advantage as the Namek Dragon Ball. However, it doesn't reduce your life deck. The Earth Dragon Ball actually increases your life deck size by 2 cards, and that's huge. Things can get kind of crazy if you end up passing back and forth the Earth Dragon Ball between players. You can actually rejuvenate almost your entire discard pile back into your life deck. So you definitely want to be careful when playing this card. You need to make sure that you're going to be able to keep it on your side of the field for at least that combat. Earth Dragon Ball 3 also helps Dragon Ball decks in another way, in that it shuffles your life deck. A lot of times when you're taking damage throughout the game, you know, Dragon Balls are being sent to the bottom of your life deck, you want to shuffle your deck. Well, this Dragon Ball, Earth Dragon Balls, have a ball on it that allows you to shuffle your life deck. Earth Dragon Ball 4 is where the Earth Dragon Balls start to really go away from what the Namek Dragon Balls do. Instead of destroying setups or drills, the Earth Dragon Ball 4 destroys up to 2 allies. So you can do 0 if the opponent has no allies in play and you do. You can do 0, you can do 1 or 2. Then also you're going to destroy the top 2 cards in your opponent's life deck, which is great, you know, for decks that like mill, for control-y decks. It sucks that you're losing the power of Namek 7 if you choose to run these Earth Dragon Balls. So it's nice that one of the earlier Dragon Balls has a little bit of mill on it to make up for that loss of the extremely powerful Namek 7. Earth Dragon Ball 5 is next, and this guy has a very interesting ability. When this Dragon Ball comes in play, you're going to be able to choose a Dragon Ball on either side, just in play, and shuffle it into its owner's life deck. Meaning if your opponent has captured your Dragon Ball, and you want it back into your life deck, shuffle that in. If your opponent has played a Dragon Ball that you have in your deck, shuffle in his Dragon Ball and then play that Dragon Ball. It's going to give you a lot of options for, you know, controlling the field of Dragon Balls, which this is going to be a Dragon Ball deck. You are going to be playing all of these Earth Dragon Balls, have very control-y abilities. They're meant for a control deck. They're meant for a control Dragon Ball victory deck. Continued on, this Dragon Ball is going to allow your main personality to gain 3 stages, as well as banish 3 cards from any discard pile. So it's important to note that Earth Dragon Ball 5 can actually set up Earth Dragon Ball 3. You can choose your own discard pile, banish select cards from the bottom of your discard pile to set up a really good draw. Earth Dragon Ball 6 is up next, and this Dragon Ball is the one that's going to say, hey, just to let you know, people, you're going to want to use this set in a Dragon Ball victory deck. It has a constant effect that whenever a Dragon Ball is banished while taking damage, or by an opponent's effect, you can rejuvenate those Dragon Balls. So this is going to save you completely from anything involving, banishing from the top, Black Corruption, Black Capture, Black Impatience. All of those effects, you're going to be safe from those with this Dragon Ball in play. You're probably going to want to play this Dragon Ball first, like just to sit out so you know that your other Dragon Balls won't be banished. It's also going to protect you from your opponent playing any of the Dragon Balls that you have. The second part of its constant allows it at the end of combat to be placed on the bottom of your life deck in order to rejuvenate a card. Now this effect is perfect for Dragon Ball Victory. How many times have you been in a situation with the Dragon Ball Victory deck that you only have like 3 cards left or 2 cards left in your life deck and 2 of them happen to be Dragon Balls, or 1 of them happens to be a Dragon Ball? Well, if you only have 2 or 3 cards left in your life deck, put this Dragon Ball at the bottom and then rejuvenate a card so you can be able to draw in to the Dragon Balls you need to end the game. You may be thinking, there's no way they could come out with a Dragon Ball that would rival Namek 7 in terms of power. Well, you'd be wrong. Earth Dragon Ball 7 is highly reminiscent of the Earth Dragon Ball 7 from the old game, where once per game you can play it from your hand during combat in order to end combat. This power is so spectacular, and much like Namek 7, it can be thrown in many different kinds of decks, and just set it and forget it, just throw it in there, and it's a powerful ability you can see at any point in the game. Earth 7 is going to be the same. Control decks or stasis decks or any deck that wants to be able to dodge out of combat, but you don't like playing Blinding Energy move, you don't like banishing those cards off the top of your life deck, well, just throw Earth 7 in there. It then has a constant that allows you to, once per combat, place a Dragon Ball from your hand into play. And this is just excellent for Dragon Ball decks. Because how often, like towards the end of the game, you only have like 10 cards left, your opponent enters on you and you draw 2 Dragon Balls. Even if you have like a time or something to end combat or something, you're gonna have to discard one of those Dragon Balls and put it to the bottom of your life deck. Well, this Earth Dragon Ball solves that issue. You're always going to be able to place Dragon Ball from your hand into play regardless. Another really big factor that goes into the Earth 7, being able to just throw it into any deck, is that it has no negative effect. You can use it to end combat from your hand. The opponent steals it, it almost does nothing for them. So the major takeaways from the difference between Earth Dragon Balls and Namek Dragon Balls: Namek Dragon Balls are your aggressive Dragon Balls. They're your beatdown Dragon Balls. 2 of the Dragon Balls draw cards in the Namekian Balls, and only 1 draws cards in the Earth Balls. Earth can end combat. Namek mills and sets up your top. Namek Dragon Balls are for ball bouncing. They're for Namekian Hurried Quest and Namekian Lift. And Earth Dragon Balls are for control. They're for stasis. They're to play out on the field and just have them sit there. Honestly, guys, I'm a little afraid, because the power of these Dragon Balls for Dragon Ball Victory, for the control of combat and the game, it scares me. A lot of different Dragon Ball searchers are being revealed. There's that Namekian Hunt card, the new Namekian Mastery, the Namekian Radiant Mastery. I don't know how fast and how effective Dragon Ball Victory decks are going to become. I don't know how relevant Brawly is going to be in the meta, but all of these things are starting to add up to a really fast Dragon Ball Victory deck that's going to be able to control a lot of aspects of the game. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how powerful it is. But I can tell you for certain that these Dragon Balls are just easily stand up to the power of the Namek Balls, just in a very different way. You have to kind of look at them from a different perspective. So if you're thinking about building a Dragon Ball Victory deck, think about playing the Earth Dragon Balls. And we got more Awakening preview videos coming out, guys. We got the Cell video. I'm gonna shoot that and release it later this week. And then we have likewise the Cell Junior video and the Tau video. I'm gonna shoot videos for those. So stay tuned, guys, because we got a lot of content coming to the channel. Please don't hesitate to hit that like button if you like this video. And as always, turn your dial to Random Number Gaming for weekly updates for the Dragon Ball Z card game.